Welcome everyone, we are back here on our normal schedule for something awesome.
Yeah, every other week.
Every other week now, because it makes things easier for us.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the Halloween content.
Yeah, we try to put things out every week, so it looks like quite a few people, and by few I mean like at least 20 people.
Tens of people consuming our content. I love it though.
Which I appreciate so much. It's better than zero.
If it's anything more than 2, because I know I look at it and I know you look at it, so if it's anything more than 2,
we're a success.
I'm happy. I'm happy. 100%.
Print the
happy.
money.
Print the money.
And cut the check.
That's funny. Yeah.
But yeah, we're back here, and we're gonna talk about a movie called Clerks 3.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen any of the other Clerks or are not familiar with Kevin Smith,
please go do so.
Go watch his shit.
He's made some really good movies, made some bad movies, but he's got a high batting average.
But here's the thing about him. He does it on his own terms.
Yeah, for sure.
He doesn't. Well, now he does it on his own terms, but he doesn't bow to the corporate. Well, sometimes it is, but he doesn't bow to the corporate. Like, what was it? Red State. He pulled out his mortgage.
Yeah.
To make that fucking movie,
and then made a big spectacle about selling distribution rights, and then sold it for $1 to himself. Yeah. Which is a great movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna talk about Clerks 3 today. Before we get into Clerks 3. I want to see if we can give like a brief history of our...
That's good. Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Yeah. Not necessarily all his movies, but the Clerks movies specifically. But I can't talk today. Specifically.
Yeah.
So when was the first time you saw Clerks?
First time I saw Clerks. Clerks was the first movie I saw. I watched, I believe, like freshman year of high school.
Okay.
Because I've overheard some people talk about it, like, saying, "Oh, it's a funny movie," blah blah blah. Like the only thing it's in black and white. So I was like, I don't care. Like,
so Clerks came out in 94, right?
94.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and I think I was a freshman in 98.
Okay. So I saw it in 97, I think. Maybe 96, but it was on VHS. I kept hearing we were actually out in New Mexico for summer break. So it was 97 when I saw it, and visiting my family, and my mom was like, let's go to the Blockbuster. Doesn't exist anymore, and go rent a movie. And so we all picked a movie, and I was like, I keep hearing good things about Clerks. Let's see that. So we got it and watched it. Nobody liked it except me. I thought it was amazing.
My dad walked out on it. I think it was once we got to the 37 part. My dad's like, what the fuck are you watching?
Wait, what is that anyway? Something like 36. Does that include me?
37.
I'm 37?
Going to class.
Oh, my God. 37. My girlfriend sucked 37 dicks.
In a row?
It's hilarious because as the story goes, it only got sold because of the 37 part, right? But yeah, I think I saw Mallrats before I saw Clerks. So Mallrats was 96.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned you saw Mallrats. Mallrats, I think, was 96 or... Yeah.
Do some fact checking for me.
Go for it.
So it might have been 98 when I saw Clerks. It might have been the same time. But I did see Mallrats before I saw Clerks. And I saw Mallrats on VHS also because I borrowed it from a cousin of mine. 95. Okay, so then my time frame is good. All right. So I saw Mallrats on VHS. And then ended up seeing Clerks after. And like remember people saying, this is a good movie. And I was like, I like Mallrats. I'll check out Clerks. And that, early on, Clerks became my favorite movie of his. Then other movies came out. But yeah, so I can't say I'm on the ground floor with Clerks, but I definitely saw it pretty early. It had already started. It had already started to like get a buzz. Because I think even though Mallrats and Chasing Amy had come out probably by the time I saw it.
97, yeah.
So I think both of those had already come out by the time I saw Clerks. So there was already like buzz going about Kevin Smith, but I just remember everybody always talking about Clerks. So that's kind of my history with it too. It's like nobody in the house liked it. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I fucking loved it. I thought it was hilarious. And but yeah, Clerks was that, and then I watched Mallrats, and I saw it was on television. I mentioned this before.
The worst cut of the movie you could ever
Worst way
see.
you can watch Mallrats is a movie, but it's also the most creative telling of the movie.
Yeah.
With no curses.
Right.
And just ridiculous ad libs.
Yeah.
Like most of Jay's dialogue is completely dubbed.
Which is hilarious too. Like, because there's all the drama with him. They didn't want him to be
They
Jay. They didn't want
Jay.
Jay to be Jay. But yeah, man, it's
Seth Green was going to be Jay.
Yeah.
Like it came down to Seth Green.
Breckenmeyer, and they
but
wanted
Seth Green
one
was
of
the
those
top
two.
one because
Yeah.
he was. I think that's when he started Buffy.
Oh, okay, yeah, probably.
Was it?
Or right before.
No.
Right
It was
before.
before. It was
Yeah.
before that. He might have done something else before that because Buffy was 97.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna get into it when we talk about Clerks 3, but Rick and I are like super Kevin Smith nerds to where we've listened to all the DVD commentaries probably as many times as we've seen the actual movies separately.
Commentaries, the podcast.
Yes. Any
specials.
Evening
live
with Kevin Smith
specials,
DVDs where he talks about all this stuff. So there's a lot of stuff in Clerks 3 that all goes back to that, which I think is great. But yeah, so I saw Clerks pretty early. I saw Clerks 2 in San Diego Comic-Con weekend with Bryce and some other friends of ours with a Q&A with Kevin Smith after. It was...
That was that year. That was actually
2006.
Yeah, because I know, 2006 came out.
So that's when I saw Clerks summer of 2006, before it came out.
Before it came out.
Yeah. And it was, I loved that movie too. Clerks 2. I loved that also. So.
I know we both met Jay. Have you met Kevin?
Not like we've met Jay, not like up close. But like,
okay.
yeah, just like, hey, how's it going as he passes by or whatever.
Right,
like,
right.
Not actually getting to stand there and fucking talk to Jay for like 10 minutes.
I know.
Who was so awesome because he was really early in his new sobriety. Like really early. And
I think it was before he hit his 1 year.
Yeah, it was before he hit his 1 year. And we went to see Jay and Silent Bob Get Old. You guys took me for my birthday, which I thought was great.
That's right.
Yeah, and it was really cool to get to talk to him. He had a lot of nervous energy.
He's just drinking Red Bull. Like
crazy. Because he couldn't. He's no more heroin. He's got to do Red Bull. But he seems like a completely different person now. So that's good for him, man. 10 years now, right? Just over 10 years, I think they said.
Has to be, Has to be over 10 years now, which is great.
Yeah,
like,
good for him.
Plus, somebody he has a family now. Like his priorities are straight now.
Yeah.
Like took him a while, but like he's back on track where he needs to be, and that's good for him.
Have you had any conversations with Kevin Smith or no?
I have.
Okay.
I met Kevin Smith when he did that Pod Damn It thing, like that 24. That was gonna be a 24-hour podcast thing at the John Lovitz, or the person we don't say the name of.
Voldemort. Yeah.
Yeah. I met him there. I met him a few times. I met his assistant, Megan, at the time.
Right.
I did talk to Jordan for like a brief second.
Yeah.
And I think that was, and then Kevin I talked to. I got a picture with Kevin.
Very
which
cool.
went up on Facebook. He's like everyone got a picture with Kevin and Jay. And it all went up on Facebook, except mine wasn't there.
Oh no.
So here we go. This is gonna be the clip. Kevin Smith, if you watch this, I had options to get pictures with you. And the time that I did was supposed to get that picture. I got that picture, but I don't know who was in charge of the Facebook during that time. I never got to see that picture.
Oh, no.
I saw the picture with me and Katie Morgan.
Oh,
yeah, because it was
that's
Katie Morgan,
right.
him, and Jay, and I never got. The picture never went out.
So that was the first Katie Morgan podcast too, right? That night, right?
Yeah, she had a podcast too on their Smodcast network,
which I ended up listening to. That was pretty good. She's super entertaining.
She's funny. Yeah, I like her. And but yeah, like that picture didn't go up, and I saw the person before me. I saw the person after me, but me, picture nowhere to be seen. So I'm putting it out there. If you see this, I want a picture with you.
Yeah.
Oh, just a picture to remember.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah.
Then you could tell him about the time that you sucked off Ben Affleck in the elevator.
God.
That didn't really happen. It didn't really happen. I like to tease Rick though.
No. I went to a taping of I think was it Hollywood Babylon or Jay and Bob Get Old? I don't remember. It might have been Jay and Bob Get Old.
Yeah.
I think it was Jay and Bob Get Old. And before that, I went to the Writers Guild, Writers Guild of America, like building.
Yeah.
Because they had a Q&A with Ben and a few other people. I don't remember what movie it was for, but I was there and I got to see that, and then it was time to leave. And when I got into the elevator, there was Ben with his like assistant and like whatever. I'm like, oh shit, I'm in an elevator with Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
And that's when he brought it up on the podcast because I mentioned it to him.
Yeah. Did you? Okay, so
I
it
did
was
talk to
for
Ben, though. He was such a cool
Argo.
guy. Argo.
It was Argo. Because that's
Was
what.
it Argo?
Because that's what you went to go be an extra in.
Yeah, I was an extra in Argo.
And I think it was for Argo.
It was probably after the fact.
Yeah, it was
of
after the
Argo,
release.
yeah.
But yeah, I think it was like a maybe not a screening, but I think there was a movie aspect to it, and then they did a Q&A about the movie. Yeah, it was for Argo.
Yeah,
Rick was in
But
a
yeah,
movie with Ben Affleck.
Yeah, I got to know Ben Affleck. And I still like to say that I was the one that told him, like, when I talked to him, I told him, like, yo, Greenlight Project was great. I think it was a little bit ahead of its time.
Yeah,
but
big
it's
time.
awesome. And then, like, a year later, he comes back, and then Greenlight Project is back.
Yeah, they reboot it.
I'm like,
yeah.
That was me.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Which
You're
it
welcome.
was a great concept.
That was a good concept, yeah.
Like, could you imagine that? Like, starting now? Like, if nobody...
It's kind of hard now.
It
because
wouldn't
of
work now
YouTube.
because it's so easy to do it yourself anyway.
Yeah.
But, like, it was definitely ahead of its time by a few years.
Yeah. I mean, it's still beneficial in the fact that you'll still get, like, actual Hollywood actors to be in the movie that you wrote.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, if you really have that drive, like, you can do it now, even with non-actors.
Yeah.
I mean, do it old school, like Kevin Smith.
Exactly. 100%. There was
Use your friends.
There was 2 actors in that movie. Marilyn Gigliotti and Brian O'Halloran were like the only 2 real actors at the time.
Yeah. And speaking of them, let's talk about Clerks 3.
Yeah, let's get into it, man.
So, Clerks 3 came out this year. Kevin Smith did his tour like he usually does with his movies, which is why he always makes his money back when it comes to his movies being released.
Yeah.
Which is great. Love to see that. But yeah, Clerks 3 brings back pretty much everybody. Fucking everybody. Even some of the customers came back.
Yeah. The only one not back was Lisa Spoonhour because she's passed away. But yeah, man, they brought everybody back. And so I'm willing to bet there's a lot of people out there that don't like the quote meta part of this movie. I was worried about it before seeing it. Because
I knew you were. I know other people were too.
We had just seen, I mean, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back is about going to stop a movie from being made.
A movie of a movie.
Yeah. Jay and Silent Bob Reboot is, sorry to say it, but it is terrible. It has its moments. There are some moments in that movie that are good, but on the whole, that movie is terrible. And that was another one about a movie making a movie about a movie that was made before, and it's
a movie of a remake of that movie.
Yeah, and I was like, oh god, this is the 3rd time he's done this. I don't know if this is gonna be any good. But being a huge Clerks fan, I even said this to you, I was like, as long as he brings in a lot of the stuff he talked about in the commentary or in like Q&As about the making of the movie and kind of weaves that in for people who have been around for nearly 30 years, I think that'll be okay. And knowing Jeff Anderson and Brian O'Halloran and how good they are as those characters, as Dante and Randall, this movie will be at the very least good. Like I don't think this movie could be bad, but I was just still really worried about it because Jay and Silent Bob Reboot was really bad. And I understand what Yoga Hosers was supposed to be, but that's really bad.
Yoga Hosers was not for me.
Like, I gotta say though, like, Kevin Smith he's batting over 500 for sure. If this were baseball, the dude would be a Hall of Famer because he's only struck out a couple of times, like as far as movies go. And,
of course, for us, I mean, there's other people out there that like the movies.
Right, of course. Yeah, but yeah, definitely. For me, it's all subjective. For me, he's only had a couple of foul balls and a couple of strikeouts. Like I'm even a fan. I know a lot of people like to hate on it because it's fun, but I think people are coming around on it now. I even like Jersey Girl. I think that's a good movie. It's a well-made movie.
I like Jersey Girl. Jersey Girl is great.
But everybody wanted to shit on it because of Jennifer and Ben Affleck and the whole deal and changing the movie, or quote, changing the movie, which he claims it wasn't changed that much.
I don't know about that.
But yeah, it's one of those things. Like, it's all subjective. Movies, entertainment, everything is all subjective. Overall, at first, I was like arms crossed, like no, I don't want to like, I don't want to like it, I don't want to like it. But at the end of the movie, like after credits rolled and everything, I was like, man, I fucking love this movie. I really, genuinely love this movie. So that's where I am overall. I don't want to go too deep because we're gonna go deep.
Overall, as well, fucking fantastic.
Yeah,
man. Fucking fantastic. We're going from 1, 2 to 3. 2 being one of my favorites of the Clerks.
Right.
Now you got 3, and like the way everything just comes together, like it fucking punched me in the face.
Yeah.
You know, drop kicked me.
Yeah.
And then spit on my face and said,
"Like it,
fuck you."
Yeah. But then it makes you laugh.
Way.
But then it makes you laugh too. Like
yeah. And then it does make you laugh.
Yeah.
So like it had everything. It had heart. And okay, so I watched it twice.
Okay, yeah.
Second time I watched it with some friends that haven't watched it yet.
Oh, okay.
So I know what was coming. And then as we were watching it, like no one expected where it was going.
Yeah.
And like after we finished, everyone was like, "Fuck!" Like I wasn't expecting that out of this movie.
Yeah. Had a real like it wasn't the first movie to do this, but we always talk about Bryce as well. We always talk about how Shaun of the Dead does that to you. Like it's funny and it makes you laugh and it looks very surface and then it fucking punches you in the gut. And it's like, oh man. And like all of those movies with Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, and you know, those movies do that to you. They seem like they're just super surface and then they punch you in the gut.
Yeah.
And
the deeper it got, the deeper you got into this movie, just like with like Shaun of the Dead, because you just brought it up, like it just starts striking you harder and harder.
Yeah. Some of the people that came back, I was like, whoa,
let's talk
you
about
look
that.
exactly the same. And then I was like, whoa, what happened? Like Trevor Furman, who plays Elias, like I had seen a picture of him a few years ago, so I knew he does not look the same anymore as he did in Clerks 2. But then when he comes on screen in Clerks 3, I was like, whoa. And like, so that was kind of like a worry number one, because like part of the charm of that character in Clerks 2 was his look. It wasn't just his personality and the way he talked to the guys. It was like part of his look. He doesn't look like that anymore. Like he is unrecognizable as the same guy from Clerks 2. And
well, I mean, I recognized him, you know.
Obviously.
I think when he went all goth, I could not recognize him
so
at all.
I think that was by design. I think there was a moment where Kevin Smith realized this character doesn't have the same charm because he doesn't have the same look. So we're going to fuck with his look and make that part of the charm. And man, did it work, because as soon as he went to going into costumes and stuff like that,
mode.
I was like, okay, this character feels like it did again. You know?
He transformed himself from being this godly person to this Satanist.
But yeah.
Which was fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
The way they pulled it off was like, I hope God strikes you down.
Yeah.
And fucking Randall has that heart attack and just falls over.
Brian O'Halloran and Jeff Anderson, they still look like Dante and Randall. They just look older. Like they still look.
It's been like what, 30 years?
Just about. Yeah. So like you expect that. Marilyn Gigliotti looks great, and that was a cool like quick cameo having her in it. I was like, oh wow, that's awesome.
She looks amazing.
Yeah, she looks great. And then, you know, of course, you get Walt up there playing hockey. Brian Johnson's up there. They're all playing hockey. It's the whole Tell 'em Steve Dave crew. And it looked like a lot of the original hockey crew from the first movie.
Probably was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it probably was.
I didn't look too deep into the casting because I didn't want to go too deep after. I was like, it was hard to stop thinking about this movie when I was done watching it both times. But yeah, so like a lot of the original crew. I love that his mom was in it again. I like that Walt played the egg checker guy again.
Oh my god, yes.
And he's like, it's been 30 years, get the fuck out of here. Like just little funny things like that. But yeah, like,
and then did you notice the smaller details? Like you saw the hater tots there, like everything around there. But one of the things that I missed the first time around was when in the beginning of it, where Randall, Jay and Bob are in front of the store.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, hey, is anybody working here? If you look at his T-shirt, it's a Happy Scrappy Hero Pup shirt.
Oh shit! I didn't catch that.
Yeah,
No.
I caught that the second time I watched him. Like,
That's funny.
that is hilarious. I want that shirt.
That was another good scene when he was selling the weed to the guy, even though
He
they
was
have
like,
a weed store.
It's legal, and they're like,
yeah,
go.
Get out of here! Get out of here! Yeah. All right, I want to talk about how this movie opens. The first movie,
Black Parade.
yeah, and I like that song, and I like that band, but I don't know if it's just me, but the audio mix on that open was the music
pretty
was
high,
so loud, and I was trying to hear what they were saying on the roof, like playing hockey, like I wanted to hear stuff, but you just couldn't. And then we sat through the entire song, and I know that was a thing in the first movie also with Love Amongst Freaks and the Clerks song, but that was like 2 minutes and 30 seconds, not a fucking 5.5 minute long
Song.
epic, you know?
Yeah,
like, fuck, man.
I
I was
first
like,
watched it, like, they're really gonna do this, okay.
and I was like, wow, is he killing time? Is it what is going? So I was worried right out of the gate. It was nice to see all the characters, and I like that song, but I was like, oh my god, this is literally just like 6 minutes of credits and opening and hockey, and then the movie starts. I was like, that's a lot of time in a movie that's only 90 minutes, you know? And
Yeah.
I do appreciate that for the most part, Kevin Smith sticks to that 90 to 100 minutes because he feels like movies that, especially comedies that go on longer than that, you lose interest. And I don't know if I necessarily agree, but I think at a time that was definitely something I totally agreed with. So I appreciate that he kind of sticks to his time.
Yeah.
And 6 minutes out of 90 minutes is a long time, but it ended up not being that bad.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad because we got the whole scope of,
Right.
you know, the backstory of Dante, what happened to
Becky.
Becky.
And we don't get that what actually happened till later. Because like when you
technically,
see that, so when you see that, I was like, wait, what the fuck? I had to rewind.
Yeah, no, I did the same thing. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, how could they do this to poor Dante?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I think I found out later is they only had a certain amount of time with her as well, too.
I also think it was, she looks exactly the same as she did
She
20
has
years
not
ago.
fucking aged.
But
like, I don't know
nobody
what's going
else
on with
does.
Like with Rosario Dawson, she does not age.
God, she's so gorgeous. And she's so good. And her and Brian O'Halloran in Clerks 2 and in their scenes in this movie have such good chemistry together. Like you really believe it, man.
Yeah.
You really fucking believe it. But yeah, she's fucking, I'm like, wait, what? And I saw that, I was like, god damn, that's harsh. And I was like, why the fuck are they doing this? Like already? We already know from the trailers and the whole premise that Randall has a heart attack and now Becky's gone and fucking what's gonna happen? What's Dante's deal? Like, so it really did set the stage for like, I need to know what the fuck's going on in this movie, which I think is super well done. Because a lot of movies now, like, they don't worry about storytelling. And I know it's a certain genre of movie, they don't worry about storytelling, just throw you in, here's the action, here's what you want to see. But I really appreciate that right out of the gate, they hit you with like 2 or 3 things really hard. And it's like, now you're going to find out all about this stuff as we go along.
That's why I didn't mind the opening when I watched it the second time, because I thought too the first time when I watched it, I'm like, that's kind of long. I get what's going on. But as I'm watching the second time, I also got to see a lot of things I didn't notice before, as well as like how well he set the world up for even people who, unlike, haven't even watched it. Like, because there were people in the server that when I was watching with, like, who have never seen like the other Clerks.
They haven't seen any of them, and they watched this one.
I mean, they were. I'll be honest, they probably weren't paying attention as much.
All right,
but like, we were just all hanging out.
Yeah.
But it does set it up pretty well for those who, for some reason, managed to find this movie, you know, first.
Yeah.
To set it up pretty well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that with the beginning. I enjoyed it the second time around. Like it did okay, but the volume was too fucking loud on the song.
Right? That's what I kept coming
loud.
away with. It was just
Or we're too old. I don't know. One of the things.
No, I think it's because with his.
I feel like with streaming and digital media, though, like I feel like they just can't get their levels right.
It's all movies. It's not just streaming and digital. It's like even movies that are. It's anything that has to get transferred to television, like or cable, or there's something because the audio is always completely fucked unless you have like a surround sound setup. And I don't. So, but I watch this with headphones on a small screen, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, it was it was still just way too fucking loud. And it wasn't because I was like, oh, it's hurting my ears. It was one of those things where it's like, if you're going to play the song and make the song the whole focal point of the opening of the movie, then don't have your characters engaging in dialogue that we can hear. Because they're engaging in conversation and dialogue on the roof during the hockey game. And I was straining to try and hear it because I know how Kevin writes dialogue and conversation. So it was just it's on me. 100% on me.
I don't think it was really imperative.
No, not at all. But I wanted to hear it. If you're going to put it in there, I want to hear it.
Yeah.
You know? So that's 100% on me. I can't knock the movie for that. Other than what I expect from a Kevin Smith movie, I expect everything to mean something. Dialogue wise, and that was obviously just throwaway.
Right. There were a lot of good references
Yes.
in Clerks 3 from not only all his movies, but the fucking Clerks cartoon. I love that. Like the Dr. Laneham.
Yeah.
She gives her excuse as to why she's wearing that costume, just like the mayor in the Clerks cartoon, which I caught the second time I watched it. The first time, of course, it's cold in here. It's hot cold.
Yeah.
You know, that I caught.
One too. Yeah.
Right away. And I think there was one more Clerks. Oh, and I forgot what it was. A Clerks cartoon one, but I don't remember what it was. Like I said, I thought I would remember. I should have wrote it down. But yeah, I like that deep cut with Clerks cartoon. I'm so happy about. Oh, I know what it was. It was when his wife, Jen Schwalbach, Emma, where she comes back because she okay, so this is kind of spoiler, right? So it's like,
she comes back for the money.
For her money.
Yeah.
And when she walks away, she says, well played, Clerks.
Yeah.
Just like in the Clerks cartoon.
Well played,
fucking
Clerks. Yeah.
Perfect.
Good stuff. I was glad that they've had some of that stuff in there. The hot cold stuff was pretty funny. I was like, God damn it, that's a good one. I did like when he goes, so in the Clerks cartoon, Randall would do this giggle where he'd go, like,
yeah, I love that giggle.
And it was only in the cartoon. He didn't do it in the first movie. He didn't do it in Clerks 2.
Did he do it in the?
He does it in Clerks 3 when they're talking about scenes to go in the movie. He goes, remember that time we went to Julie Dwyer's funeral and he knocked the casket over? And he goes, that was you! And he goes, it was? That's a good scene. And he writes it down, but he does the giggle before he brings it up.
Again.
Yeah.
I don't remember the giggle, but I remember the Julie Dwyer part. But yeah.
So I thought that was cool. Just the little nods. And now I want to get to the nerdy shit that I want to talk about. All the stuff that you heard in the commentary for Clerks or in the 10th anniversary commentary because they did a separate one, or in like Evening with Kevin Smith where he talks about the making of Clerks, like the scene where Jay didn't want to dance. Yeah. And that's right from the commentaries and the Evening with Kevin Smith stories where it's 3:00 in the fucking morning. There's literally 5 people on set, and that's including Jay. And he refused to dance in front of everybody, and he made everybody go inside the store so he could dance. And I thought that was cool. And
I like that, yeah.
What the fuck is this? I don't talk like this. Snoopy and Boogies? Who says that shit? He goes, you literally say that all the time. And Kevin tells that on the first Evening with Kevin Smith DVD that Jay didn't like the way he wrote him. Talking, and he's like, what do you mean you don't like that? It's you. It's just you. And then the over delivering of lines.
Yes.
Because that's also from the stories. And then the part where they're just shooting the end where there's a bunch of fine looking women.
Not all of
them bring you lasagna for lunch. And that was supposed to be a line Jay said, and originally he couldn't hit it. And exactly what they did, he's, what the fuck? I'll just do it. And then he goes right back in and fucking hits the line. He goes, fuck! And it's like, I love it, man. I just love all that little stuff that they talk about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, hitting everything that I wanted to hit too, yes.
Yeah.
All those little things from behind the scenes, like, because we just know
why the shutters are closed.
Why the shutters are closed too. That was the other one. The gum stuck in. And I loved, like, in that opening shot where he just goes, whoop.
Yeah.
Like, I just felt
it would have been that easy.
Like, clean slate.
But, he goes, I wrote it into the script so we could shoot at night. And it's like, yeah, that's exactly why he wrote it into the script, so they could shoot at night and get away with it.
The place where he held auditions.
Yeah.
Original place where he held auditions.
Yes.
I forgot the name of it. Atlantic something.
Yeah.
Theater. Yeah. You get a bunch of cameos there as well too.
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Sarah Michelle Gellar, my girl, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Buffy.
Freddie Prinze.
Freddie Prinze.
Which was great. I like that he was playing himself, though.
Yeah, so, that was awesome.
Yeah,
I love that.
yeah.
Like, it was just him.
Ben Affleck.
Affleck.
Fucking destroys, man. He's so funny in that sequence.
That guy is
I'm not
hilarious.
even supposed to be here today. Like, just fucking, yeah. So
his
good.
lion face, lemon face.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a Jane Bob Strike Back callback.
Yeah. Good stuff, dude. Like, all of that stuff I thought was great. The only thing.
We can't forget.
Go ahead.
Hollywood Babylon.
Oh, Ralph Garman.
Ralph Garman.
Yeah, do it like Arnold.
Yeah. Now Pacino it.
Ooh, wow. Yeah, good stuff, man. I really, really like that.
And his mom is also.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know what? You need an old lady here. Just says curse words. His mom pops up, like, who wrote this shit? Like, their mother should be ashamed of themselves.
Yeah. I definitely liked all that stuff, man. All the callbacks to the actual production of the movie. The way that the movie went from color to black and white when they were, like, shooting. And...
Oh, when they were shooting it.
Yeah. And we're talking about it. Now we're going to shoot. And then they're all.
And then Bob just gives his whole monologue on why he
wanted to shoot black and white.
The fluorescent lights. I'm just gonna call, and then just gets all technical.
And he's like,
about
also,
it.
It's a lot cheaper. Yeah, that's it. But yeah, man, I really dug that because it was just. That's when they started shooting the movie is when it really started to like hit me because they're on the same costumes. And all that stuff, and like
the same sweaters.
They showed the scene where when Dante hops over the counter and starts putting the nail polish on Marilyn Gigliotti's, and it's like, wow, my god,
scene,
like that one, I was like, oh fuck, man. And then the stuff in the video store with Jane Bob before they start shooting was really funny, where he gave him back a tape. And like the other thing I think is great is that people may not know this. I'm sure they will now because it'll come out. But the numbers that Randall gives them are the actual numbers that it cost to make Clerks.
Was it?
Yes. The 28,000, blah, 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 blah. But the
That's
first
what I was
one...
thinking too, but I thought they were off.
No, they're exact. The 10,000 was what he wanted to shoot it for.
Oh, okay.
And then it got over budgeted, and they ended up but the two numbers that he gives out are the numbers. Like, so I was like, oh,
that's right. I think,
yeah.
if I remember correctly, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and I like 28 cents exactly, and it's like, oh Jesus, that's exactly what it cost to make that first one. But yeah, like that's when the movie really started to hit me because that's when it starts getting fun. Like the opening is the setup, which is cool. Act 2 is the making of the movie, which is the fun. And there's some serious stuff in there with Dante and Becky. And
Graveyard.
I gotta say, man, like
that was so good.
In those, because there's 3 of them in those 3 scenes with Dante and Becky. Brian O'Halloran fucking brings his A game, man.
He's a professional actor.
I know, but he's only done these Kevin Smith movies. You know what I'm saying? Like he's done other things here and there, but like, and he is a really good actor, and you could see that in the original Clerks. But he really fucking brings his A game in those 3 scenes
100%.
With Rosario Dawson, man.
100%.
And the fight, when the swerve happens at the end, when they're getting ready to shoot the fight scene in Clerks, and he's yelling at him.
Oh, yeah.
And then, spoilers, fucking Dante has a heart attack.
Yeah.
And there's some, and then when it happens, it's like, okay, there's been some foreshadowing of this happening.
Right.
Like the doctor even says, like, hey, you got to take care of yourself too, because if you eat anything like this guy does, you hang out with him all the time, you're going down the same path.
So here's the thing about that. When she mentioned that, I'm like, okay, so one of them is gonna die.
Yeah.
And right away, I thought like I know this was kind of supposed to be kind of like, let's say, like a misdirection, throwaway. I don't want to say throwaway, but misdirection. But like with how much I know he loves the character Rand. I know he loves all his characters, but like I know he wanted to play Randall.
It was based on him.
Yeah,
yeah. That's why Randall has all the good
him
lines.
And Brian Johnson.
Right.
But like I honestly thought like it was gonna be Randall. I thought that was the thing. Like I felt like the twist was like, oh, let's try to make it like it's gonna be Dante, but it's really gonna be Randall because Randall's a character like everybody loves, and also the fact that
they go out of your way
Jeff
to
Anderson
make you hate him. In this movie,
doesn't like acting.
Yeah.
You know? So I thought they would kill him off, you
Mhm.
know? But no, they fucking twist
Yeah.
that.
So then again, there's like the anxiety stuff he has problems with and all that. Like you can see it coming, not see it coming, but when it happens, you're like, fuck, I should have seen that coming.
Yeah.
But they go out of their way to make you hate Randall at a couple points in this
Oh, for
movie.
sure.
And it's like, you're never supposed to hate, even in the first two movies, Randall's supposed to be like Dante's fucking brick wall to lean on. Like he's an asshole about it, but that's his guy. Like, you know, and they go out of their way to make Randall a real like fucking arrogant prick.
It's his fucking best friend partner.
Yeah, and here we go. They go out of their way to make you hate him, and you don't want to hate that character at all. So like when you start to feel that, like it fucking hurts, man.
Even
like,
when Elias is fucking yelling at him too.
yeah, I gotta say, fucking thank you, Kevin Smith, because I was already in shambles when that scene happens in the fucking hospital, and I'm doing my best to keep it together right now. When he's fucking wearing the King Diamond face paint with the goddamn top hat and yelling at Randall in the hospital, and then like I'm dying. I'm literally crying, like openly, just weeping, sobbing, and not being quiet about it. And he fucking dusts the hat off and flips it and put it on. I was like, you son of a bitch. God damn it.
The balance between drama and comedy.
Yeah. But yeah, when that scene happens in the store and he's yelling at Randall, and then it cuts to Silent Bob, and he's like, I can film it because this is good. And then he has the heart attack, and then Randall goes, oh, big deal. I had a heart attack too. Like, again, they make Randall a really arrogant prick throughout a lot of this movie. And it's like stuff that, like, you know, when he's in the hospital and he's like, okay, I got to get back. And he's like, and when he says that, I'm feeling exactly what fucking Elias is feeling.
It's like,
and
what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
It's
And
like...
it's just fucking, it's rough because like at a point I get to that and I'm like, well, fuck, Randall can't come back from this. This character cannot come back from this. And they managed to get it to come back. And when he realizes he's being a dick and leaves, presumably to go finish editing the movie, to show to Dante, the way that they intercut footage from the original movie was fucking heartbreaking, man.
That scene, okay, that scene was fucking heart-wrenching. Like, he comes in, like, he gets Jay and Bob to help run a diversion so he can go in and see Dante because, you know, he's fucking dying in the hospital. So he runs a diversion. That's funny. He gets in there to bring the laptop to him to show, and the way, like, it was like a higher up moment from Clerks 2 where he said, like, come on, like, you're my best friend. Yeah. You know, like, I can only do this with you. Like, it was a higher up moment from that. Him being an asshole throughout this entire fucking movie and finally redeeming himself. Yeah. I tell him, like, you've always been my Han. You were never the Lobot or any of the other guys. Like, you've like, Han was, or you were always my Luke. Yeah. And they're watching the movie, and then you see cut between what they shot and
the actual
first movie. And then you see Dante. As soon as you see Dante in that theater, you're like,
I was like, you motherfucker.
This is fucking it.
You motherfucker.
And then they bring in Rosario Dawson's character, Becky. And, like, they're walking away. They're fucking, like, that's like, this was where our kind of like weird, like, worriness for like how meta it was going to be got flipped on its head. Yeah. Because we didn't see them as their current selves were making this movie. It was them and their past selves. Right. Okay, so he was watching his life basically flash before his eyes before he died. Yeah. And this was like the most beautifully done death I've seen.
Like, fuck, here we go. I gotta say it, but it's gonna be rough when he goes, let's go. And she goes, you don't want to see the ending? He goes, no, I trust the director. He's also my best friend. And it's like, oh, fuck, man. If you clip this, please don't zoom in on me.
I'm not clipping this.
Please.
Yeah, no, it's.
I've tried to talk about this several times before because it's been, you know, almost a month at this point since it came out and like 3 weeks since I've seen it the first time. And every time I try and fucking talk about this movie, I fucking get like this, and
it's hard because, you know, like we've grown up with these characters from, well, pretty much almost the start.
Yeah.
You know, whether it was from the first Clerks movie to now, even through the in between where they made their cameos in the other movies.
Yeah.
Like, you just grown up with these characters. Like you're like they're your friends, just like when you watch a television show. And yes, like this isn't real, but it's still a goddamn fucking story. That was told extremely well for what I think you and what other people might have concerns with, because it was so meta.
Right.
And
they managed to bring it all together.
Yeah.
And
the way, and then the funeral part too, like everyone there sitting down was like people from everyone, like you knew everyone from like the podcast and like from the other movies. Like his daughter was there. And the eulogy that he gives, you know, it's like you're not even supposed to be here today. Like that crushed me so bad.
Yeah.
Because of how much shit Dante gets through the Clerks 1 and 2.
And
you know,
3,
and then now
3 it's piled on by the guy who's supposed to be his best friend.
You know, him saying, like, remember saying Empire had the better ending because it ended on such a down note.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this movie ends on such a fucking down note.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't get his break. You know, like he was getting that happy ending. Then he got cut off.
He got taken away. And
now like it ends on such a down ending.
Oh yeah.
But he gets to be with Becky.
Yeah.
And the way they played that was just
perfect.
Yeah. It was perfect. It was fucking perfect.
I fucking love this movie, and the more I'm glad we waited a few weeks to talk about it, because the more I've reflected on it and then watching it a second time, like when we do our list, it's going to be,
this is a contender.
It's going to be up there, man. And I'm going to say it now because I'm going to say it again when we do that episode where we rank all the View Askewniverse movies. So there's only 8 of them, but we're talking about 7 amazing fucking movies and 1 stinker. So it's going to be that 7 that are awesome are going to be very hard for me to like move around on my list. Like it's not going to be like 1 through 7. It's like 1, 1A, 1B. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you gotta make the decisions.
Yes, but I love doing that. I love forcing myself to do that. And since I saw it, Chasing Amy has always been my favorite movie in this universe. And this movie, being as good as it is going to give it a run for its money, man. I can't. I'm gonna watch them all again before we do this listing, and maybe I'll feel different about Amy than I did originally, or over the last 20 years or whatever. But
yeah, when I watched Clerks 3 again, like I think it was a year or 2 ago, like I did end up watching Amy as well too, and like those 2 movies are just so hard. Like they're so up there.
Yeah. I know a lot of people don't like Clerks 2. Like a lot of people don't like Clerks 2, which is weird to me.
Like I liked Clerks 2 when I first watched it. I didn't think it was the best one. I didn't think it was like all that. I think when I rewatched it when I was at that same age they were,
right,
it just hit different.
Yeah, it does, man. It really does. It's a goofy saying, but it really does just hit you differently as you get older. And yeah, this was fucking fantastic, dude. Like I can't say from start to finish it was fantastic, but once Randall gets out of the hospital,
that's where the ball.
It really fucking picks up, like, and it moves, man. Like, again, I want to talk about a commentary on the Dogma commentary. Kevin Smith is like telling stories about the movie, and then they get to the bar, where Azrael shows up at the bar, and he's like, "Fuck, we're already here, man. This movie moves. It just moves." And like, all of Kevin Smith's movies do that. Even the bad ones, they move. You never feel like you're sitting on anything for too long.
Yeah.
So even though we were saying how long the opening was to Clerks 3, in the context of the whole movie, and then watching it again a second time, like you said, it fits. It's moving. It's rolling.
That makes sense.
It's constantly moving. And and I think for this movie, I think that was also a little bit more by design than usual, because he knew he was going to be hitting on some shit that's going to fuck people all up. And he wanted to kind of keep it moving. And yeah, it was great. That ending, like, I almost wanted it to end when they walked out of the theater.
I kind of was wishing. I thought like, wow,
I was like, that's a great ending. It's a great fucking ending. And
but no, it's still like
when they go to the funeral sequence. And then I was
great.
like, when it fucking zooms out after he says, I'm not even supposed to be here today, or you're not even supposed to be here today, I was like, fucking credits, this is gonna be amazing. And then they go back to the store, and it's like, oh, what are we doing back at the store? And then it's like,
up loose ends.
It's uplifting us, so we're not as fucking sad walking out of the movie. Like, I don't think Kevin wanted us to walk out of the movie and want to because we're so fucking sad.
Not the Empire Strikes ending,
right? So it has the pullback, and I liked Harley being the milkmaid.
Yes, I thought I was gonna
at the end.
out, yes.
But yeah, I thought that was really cool too.
It was all Oatly milk.
Yeah. And then the other part. So again, I think I'm good. We get the pullback. The pullback from 1 and 2, because 2 did the pullback also.
2 did the pullback as well.
So we get the pullback, and it's like, all right, they're okay. They're okay. Then you see Harley, and you get your last laugh because it's fucking Harley being the milkmaid, which was Kevin's mom in the original movie.
Yeah.
So it's like the granddaughter is now the milkmaid, I think. And if you're a fan, you know that stuff. If you're not, it's just like a throwaway thing. But this movie's not made for anybody that doesn't know the history of the movies.
Yeah.
Like, so if you don't know the history of the movies and you didn't like this movie, I totally fucking get it. But there's so much here to like. So then again, like, pans back, I'm still fucking crying, but at least I'm smiling. And I'm like, all right, we're good. And I'm sitting there watching the credits, just enjoying the song because it's a good song. And then Kevin Smith starts talking during the credits. And
that's right, yeah.
Tells the story about how there was supposed to be talking during the pullout, but he pulled it at the end because he didn't think it fit. And then he tells this whole story about how it's an interview with Randall being read off by somebody, the voice of Smod, as he called it. And it's Randall at 90 years old who continued to make movies and all this stuff. And he says that, you know, I used to say that these jobs would be great if it wasn't for the fucking customers. But now here I sit reflecting on my life and career and realize that these jobs are great. Because of the fucking customers. And I started fucking again, like I'm about to do right now. And it's just, it's so fucking good, man. It's so good.
For the context of the movie, yes.
Yeah.
For real life, fuck the customers.
But, and again, so, all right, now we're kind of done with that spoiler stuff and talking about the movie as a whole. We obviously loved it. This is going to be high on our list when we do the ranking stuff. But now let's talk about what might have been. Because this is the second pass.
I was going to bring that up too, yeah.
And I feel like all the Dante shit was in the original script.
It had to have been.
Because of the way I heard Brian Johnson talk about it and Walt talk about it on Tell 'em Steve Dave, and when they were doing when he was doing the morning show with his wife, and she talked about how like this is the only thing you've ever written that I love. And it's like, okay, so knowing what I know from back then and what this movie ended up being, I feel like all that Dante stuff was in the original script. I really do. And I feel like...
Maybe it was, but it was for Randall.
No, I bet it was for Dante. And I feel like getting there was different because Kevin had his heart attack. And I really feel like everything that happened with Dante was already in the script. And all that was changed was how we got there so it didn't become as obvious. I don't know, though. Maybe one day we'll get the script. Maybe one day he'll fucking release that table read he did. I would love for him to put it on the fucking DVD or Blu-ray of this thing because...
well, he said he's never going to release it. He said they'll, like... I mean, of course, that's what people say.
Yes, I know, but, like... He's got a...
I wonder if, like, people signed, like, a non-disclosure...
Yeah, they did.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, they did.
That's why, like, I looked for, like...
Yeah, no, it's never...
I can't find it.
Yeah. NDA. There was no devices in the theater when they read it. It was all super tight. But you
It
know he recorded it. You
Of
know
course
he recorded
did.
it. You know he recorded it. And if he didn't, like, fucking bust a Quentin Tarantino, man, and release the script as a book so we can fucking read it, please. Like, I want to know what that original story was. I'm not saying that I don't like this story or that maybe it was better than this story. I think this movie was fucking amazing, and it's probably either the best or second best technically movie Kevin's ever made. I think, and I don't know if people disagree with me on this or not, but I think Red State is like the best movie he's ever made, like technically, script wise, the way he shot it, everything. I think that movie is as good as it can fucking get as far as making a piece of cinema. And I think this one is right up there with it. I love those early movies because they had that really the fucking DIY feel to it. But I think Clerks 3 is like one of the best things he's ever produced. But I want to know. I want to know.
I want to know too. I will. Will we know, Kevin?
Yeah,
Will we know?
probably not.
Probably not.
But I'd like.
I'm happy with what we got.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
But immediately, as soon as I fucking stopped weeping like a little bitch with a skinned knee, to paraphrase Jay in Jay and Bob Strikes Back, I immediately thought, how much of this was in the original movie? Obviously, the Randall.
I thought that too.
Obviously, the Randall heart attack wasn't, because that didn't happen until after Kevin had his. But I feel like this Dante stuff had to be there. The loss of the wife had to be there. Him dealing with Randall's bullshit and continuing, because that's the theme of these movies. I know this movie is about Randall, but if you watch all three of these movies, it's about the continuous pile of shit that keeps getting heaped onto Dante.
Yeah. And you know what's funny is that we could possibly, like, anyone could possibly ask him with the how many Q&As.
Yeah, but he won't do it. He won't.
You think he'll
it.
like?
I don't think he would definitely say
that's a very good. I'm glad you brought that up, because I would have never thought like that would, like, maybe this wasn't the original script that he wrote before that.
Mm-hmm.
But now that you mention it, kind of like went through that, like that kind of makes sense. I mean, it would, like, because he did say the other movie was really dark.
Yeah. Remember, Dante was supposed to die in the first movie, and they bring that up in the Clerks.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah.
I think Dante was supposed to die in this movie, even in the first pass of the script. Honestly, I really feel like Dante was going to be gone.
Yeah.
But the world may never know. But yeah, man, I fucking loved this movie, and I like to watch Kevin Smith movies over and over and over again, especially the ones I really love. Even the ones that have a little bit deeper shit. Well, I mean, they did when I was like 17 when I saw Chasing Amy. That one's deep, but that's not really that deep. But when you're a 17-year-old idiot, that's fucking deep. I don't know how many times I could return to this movie to watch it. I forced myself to watch it a second time, so it would be a little fresher when we talked about it today. But I don't know if I can continually go back and watch this movie.
Go back to it. But then again, I'm Mr. Depressed Fest, so
yeah. And I try not to be. I talked about it. I mean, this is more of a real life deal, but I talked about it on that audio only episode I did with my buddy Brian about the movie that Bam made called Haggard. And the lead in that movie is played by Ryan Dunn, who was Bam's best friend. Right. And Ryan Dunn died tragically in a car accident. And because I had been watching their content for so long, like, it hit me really hard, and I felt like I lost somebody I knew, even though never met Ryan Dunn, never had an interaction with him, nothing.
I totally get that, yeah.
But it felt like I lost a friend, and it was really hard to go back and watch that movie again to talk about it with Brian, because I hadn't watched it since before Ryan had passed away. And I know Brian O'Halloran is still alive.
Yeah, yes.
But
no, but I kind of get that, because, like,
I don't know, man. I feel like these guys are my friends. As stupid as that sounds, man. Like I was like 15 when
fictional characters.
Yeah, fictional character. I was like 15 or 16 when I saw Clerks the first time, and I don't know. You they're so real because they're actors. Or Brian is an actor, but he's not an actor at that time. He's still really young, so it feels very real and very grounded. It feels very like I know these people, or I could know these people, or I will one day know these people. And then seeing Clerks 2 and how it moved forward, and Clerks 3, like, again, I don't know. As dumb as this sounds, I feel like I lost a friend watching Dante die in this fucking movie, man.
I felt the exact same way, and you know what? I think I know the reason why. Because I kind of like felt this too, is because you're Randall and I'm Dante.
Except I'm not a dickhead like Randall.
He's not
but I'm a dickhead. I'm an asshole for sure. But again, it's for your own good.
It's not as intrusive as Randall.
Right. Yeah, maybe I think that's what it is, man. Is like, I don't know, like I have a friendship like that. Like,
the Dante, you're the Randall.
Yeah, I have friendships like that, and you are in that friendship.
Yeah,
so it's
like,
just.
And it's because their friendship is so tight, like, and you just see that in like every friends you have made, especially the ones that you hold close to your heart, and the ones that you see every fucking day, every Friday.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, and like again, going to go hang out at Jay's house. Like I've known Jay since I was fucking senior in high school.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. So
I've known Jay for almost
that makes sense.
25 years at this point. Like I've known you for almost 20 years at this point. It's been 17 years. And
insane how long
it definitely that's got to be it, man, because it's those characters are so relatable, and that's what always makes good characters and what makes good stories. And I just man,
it's a fantastic movie.
We
obviously love this movie, and we highly recommend to see it. I feel like everyone's already watched it if they're watching this. Like, how can you like not watch a Kevin Smith movie if you're not already a fan?
Right. Yeah.
So what, like, I don't know, you got anything else? I was gonna wrap it up.
No, man, that's it. I don't want to cry anymore. So I don't want to go back to talking about it.
So yeah, I guess that's just gonna be it for that, because let us know what you think, because like we went pretty deep on this one, obviously, because it's one of he's one of our favorite directors, as well as all these actors.
Yeah, and his characters and his dialogue is very near and dear to our hearts. So this was gonna be a longer episode. We are going to have another episode ranking just the View Askew movies. So if you have your rankings, let us know in the comments. You know, also what you thought about this, because we want to know. We want to interact with you. We want to talk to you. We love talking Kevin Smith. Yeah. You know, it'd be great if we had him on the show. Yeah, that would be awesome. I've been saying that since the last podcast. But that will never happen. But yeah, let us know. And that's going to be it for us. So don't forget also to check out all the links below, as well as the music, which is by No Taxes Nigel Bravo, aka Stoat Krow Komedy. That's Crow with a K, Comedy with a K. You can find him on Twitch, where he streams games. The links below. And Bandcamp, where you can get the sweet music you're hearing right now as Rick is wrapping us up. And all free. Yeah. All royalty free. Royalty free. Yeah. And you can use it. Yeah, he had a problem and he made some music and to fix the problem. So that's going to be it for us this week, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Yeah.